Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the sound system demo of the 2021 Volkswagen Passat and its 9-speaker, 400-watt Fender audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio controls, inputs, speaker locations, do a little Android Auto and Apple CarPlay demo, then we're going to get out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now if you want to just skip straight to the music, you don't want to hear all the information about the infotainment system, speakers, etc., check the chapters in the video. You should be able to skip right on ahead to when we're on the road, listen to the tracks. Before we get started, let's hop out, take a look at the car. Volkswagen's venerable family sedan, the new Passat. Looking sharp, as it typically does. Always a classy look for the Passat. This is the R-Line trim, so it's top dog, coming in about $31,000. If you want to see more on the Passat, check the links in the description for our highway fuel economy test and some behind-the-wheel impressions. Now, we always do this test with lossless, uncompressed WAV audio files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system and high-quality binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most accurate, realistic demonstration of an audio system on YouTube. We also do these tests with the sound settings set to their factory defaults, so let's take a look at those now. Relatively small display screen here, and also using a lot of graphics that are similar to Volkswagens of old. Let's see if I can eliminate some of the glare on the screen for you. Doesn't look like I really can. Hopefully you can see it okay. Go over here to sound. It's nice that they just gave a dedicated button to that. You have volume adjustments for all different sorts of guidance, voices, things like that. You have bass, mid-range, and treble, and a standard front, rear, left, right fader and balance. Touchscreen tone, that's about it. So let's go through bass, mid-range, and treble now. You know, despite this being a simple-looking, older style screen, it's actually super responsive. Look at that. That refresh rate and that response rate, really good, and it's got a nice kind of matte finish to it. Makes it nice to touch regardless of how sticky your fingers are. So I gotta give them some credit for that. Audio controls, you've got a nice volume knob here. Pretty big gaps between the volume adjustments. You can see one click makes a pretty significant difference in volume, but it's easy to grab, feels nice. You also got nice volume rockers on the left side of the steering wheel. For track selection, if you're in the media screen, you can use the touch screen. You can also use this roller knob, and then you've got physical controls right here. Audio inputs in the Passat. You have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. We see there, those 3 bands. And then for media, you've got Bluetooth, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay, USB-A port, one singular data port in the front, and then you also technically have an SD card slot, but typically that's there for navigation. But if you didn't want to use your nav, you could pop that out and put an SD card in there. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, you don't have a disc player, no USB Type-C, and no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack. So it would be nice to see Type-C on such a newly redesigned car, but it wouldn't be that hard for them to add it. Speaker locations. This is a 9-speaker system, as we mentioned. Starting up in the front, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. In the back, you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and a rear deck lid subwoofer makes 9. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay demonstrations. Let's start off with CarPlay. You do have to unplug the USB playing the music, because as I said, there's only one data port for USB. So this phone's never been paired. We just hit that one connect. And then right there, cute little Apple CarPlay screen. Pretty responsive, a little bit of stutter there. That's probably the screen's refresh rate, but it seems to be coming online pretty well. Not too bad. Pop that out, plug in our Android Auto device. Another few clicks, and there we are. We've got Android Auto up and running. A nice Google Maps display. You got your YouTube music. And let's bring up the settings screen. settings, all looks good. All right, let's get out on the road. Up to highway speeds. Turn the music down, let you hear what the Passat sounds like at 70. Fairly standard fare, going down and back opposite directions. We recorded an average of 71 decibels on our not very scientific cell phone measurer. Testing with this track is it separates the men from the boys, if you will, when it comes to how well a system can really do dynamic. Oh boy, we got some sort of debauchery going on here. How well a system can do dynamic songs. A lot of sound systems will sound good if you're just doing easy pop music, which is pretty much just low end bass and then some hi hits. It sounds okay, but this song puts a lot of different sounds through the speakers, and a system like this that sounds okay with pop music falls on its face when it's doing more dynamic songs like this. Not much crispness. You don't hear a lot of the subtleties in the background instruments. There's also a good amount of fluctuation in volume. Certain hits are much louder than others, and the lower end sort of bring everything down. That's not my microphones, that's the actual speakers getting softer and louder. This next one will turn the bass all the way up and see what happens. music gets, I don't think 400 watts total system power is enough for this. The subwoofer sounds decent, but it's not a ton of heart-thumping bass. I don't feel it in my body at all. Not getting any mirror shakage. Overall, not too impressive. My thoughts on the 9-speaker system here in the Passat. Pretty darn average. Again, sounds good with general pop type music, maybe easy rock, listening on the radio, talk. I actually like the amount of surround the system has. I think it's pretty well balanced front to back. But when you try to crank up the more complex music, it does fall on its face. I've heard better from Fender systems. The GTI system is a little more dynamic, but this isn't awful. It's a bit of a shame, I guess, that this is the top level system for a nice family sedan like this Passat. So it's better than the Accord, but not quite as good as the Sonata. Objectively speaking, I'd be giving it about a 6 out of 10. Subjectively speaking, you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but no USB Type-C or DISC or 3.5mm input. This screen, even though it looks dated, does work pretty darn well, so kind of take it or leave it on that. I'd be giving it about a 6.5 for this price point. You're only looking at $31,000 for this car, so that's definitely better than some of the top-level systems in some of the other brands, but still nothing to write home about. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the Passat, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.